Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. I hope you're all well, whatever it is you're doing. If you're listening to this after England have played their next football match, it was terrifying, wasn't it? Whatever the result was, whether we won or we lost, it was terrifying to watch it.
A real
There
nail
you go.
biter.
Always with England. It's never a pleasure watching England play football. It's always a mystery and a misery quite often. We will be talking to the wonderful Lily Lane soon. But first of all, we're going to play this short little video from the wonderful people at Analog Trash. Please do enjoy it. And then afterwards, go and visit their website and sample the delight.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Lily, thank you so much for joining me. And where are you coming from?
I'm currently in New York City, but in 12 hours, I will be in Los Angeles.
Oh, how very transatlantically cosmopolitan of you. That's fantastic. That's the way you roll.
Yeah, pretty much.
There we go. Now, listen, I always love a prop on this program. I've got a prop today, courtesy of Rough Trade, who sent me some posts this morning. There we are. There's Rough Trade. Albums of the year 2024. Right. So far. Of course, we haven't finished 2024 yet, so there could be a lot of new music that could still try and make it into 2024. But for you, your album of the year 2024 so far, or albums of the year so far?
Maybe Billie Eilish.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, like really, and I didn't expect what it is, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It brought me into whatever vibe she's on. It feels very summer to me.
Yeah, it's very musical, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a daft thing to say about an album that's full of music, but it is very, very musical. I mean,
she and Phineas are incredibly musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do really make it really interesting choices that I don't always hear, and I love something different.
I think she'll be really happy with this album, more than any
yeah.
other album that she's done, or they've done, should we say, because it is very much a joint effort. And I think one of the reasons being, and we might talk about this in a minute, is that I don't know whether you've ever heard her being interviewed about her inspirations and what really got her into music, but she has mentioned before now that she was really sort of taken with the music of Aora very early on, and I don't know what's just happened to my camera. That's really
I know you zoomed in.
It's zoomed in. It's suddenly done a weird thing, and it looks like it's not my real camera anymore. Hang on a minute. Let's do this, and then this.
There you are.
There's me, and then there's this again. There we go. Look at that. Technology having a head fit in the middle of the conversation. Sorry about that, folks. Behave. And she mentions that, she was listening to Runaway, the track, and there was just this little moment in it where there was the little sound. It's just a noise. That album is full of those little noises. Her new album is full of those little noises that just make it interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think they're amazing at blending like traditional musicality. Like I feel like in the last couple years with just technology advancing and stuff, you don't really need to be able to like play instruments anymore to make music. And I think they do an amazing job at blending real instruments and interesting sounds to keep it modern and keep it interesting and keep you like hearing something new every time you listen. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Now your music kind of blends the past with the now as well, doesn't it? Really, I mean, you've got.
I certainly try to.
Yeah, you've got a very generous kind of nod to you know, great bluesy, soulsy artists of the past. So who from sort of years gone by, bygones ago, were your first kind of real influences vocal wise?
My mom always listened to Motown music growing up. So
Oh,
I'm a huge, I always dreamed growing up that I'd be like the Supremes, or it would be like Lily and the Little Lanettes or something. Like I
love
love,
that.
I love the idea of like all these like lush live harmonies and like a big band behind you. I was a big fan of Aretha Franklin, obviously Carole King, who wrote some of Aretha's hits and had her own uh,
Mm.
amazing career. Uh, Huge Luther Vandross fan. The song "House Is Not a Home" is like one of my favorite songs of all time, and I go back to it a lot. It's just like
Wow.
it's that kind of sound that I desperately miss. Um,
What
and
the warmth in that sound? Is
yes,
it?
it's like a soulful sadness that comes even on romantic songs. It's like a soulful sadness that's on every song. A kind of
Mm.
it's like a warm hug. John Legend's voice does it really well. Modern, his voice just feels like butter melting on bread, and I love that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. When did you first start writing?
Um, probably before I should have been writing. I remember being in elementary school, just writing truly the worst songs of all time, and then going to my poor assistant principal and making her hear them. I don't, and
But
she,
listen. I'm going to say, Lily. I think all the best artists start writing when they at such an early age, and just putting it. I think if it's in you like that, you just can't help it, and you're never going to be great to begin with. And not everybody sits down at the piano and is Mozart, for goodness sake. You know, I'm sure
yeah,
most of us. And let's face it, I think we're hard on ourselves as well, right? Because I think actually,
definitely.
so what sort of age would you be then when you first
I
started?
was probably 9 to 11, and I was writing songs about like stuffed bears, and I
Yeah,
vividly remember a song called "Super Bear" that was just
I love that.
yeah, Taylor Swift in her NYU address when she got her honorary degree, she said you have to kill the cringe, and I cringe a lot at myself pretty much until I was like 25, but without that I wouldn't be here. So I like to kill the cringe and just embrace the fact that I used to write songs called Super Bear and really torture my principal with shows, private concerts.
But bear's such a good word,
Yeah.
right? Because not only does it have a double entendre
Exactly.
to
I
it,
probably
yeah,
didn't know that at the time.
you probably didn't know that, but also bear rhymes with words like care, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I was definitely a young rhymer.
exactly. So it's really good to kind of get. It's probably quite an easy thing to get like an emotional song out, really.
Yeah. It was something. It was something. I think I probably started writing about things that like mattered to anyone when I was a teenager. When you're a teenager, you just go through all the feelings. And that was really the only way I was able to express my feelings in a way that anyone understood without just like crying.
Yeah.
So
And music's not been your only sort of love, has it? I mean, you've been involved in a
yeah,
number of
I've
other things as well. So
yeah,
talk.
I music has always been like the main goal, but it's not always the most lucrative career. So living in New York City, it's a really expensive place. I was lucky enough to be able to model when I was like 15. I modeled straight size
Cool.
modeling, and then as I grew up and hit puberty and just started growing the other way, I started doing curve modeling, and that actually became a passion of mine. I don't think I was necessarily like attached to modeling at first, but when I realized I met a friend named Denise Bedeau, who's like a prolific, amazing curve model, huge for representation for women of all sizes. And she's incredible, but she was the one who first initially told me that I could model not being a size 0. And as soon as I was aware that that was a career, I not only was inspired by it, I started to notice it more, and I started to notice when there wasn't representation, and I really wanted to be that representation in the way that Denise Bedeau was for me and Ashley Graham was for me. I just knew that if I had grown up with that kind of representation, I wouldn't have a lot of the hangups and that me and a lot of my friends do about their body and being a woman and the commodification of femininity and the female form. So that's something I'm also very passionate about. I want
to ask you a little bit about that, because totally. I feel like we're in a really strange place when it comes to equality and representation and acceptance at the moment, because I think on the one hand we live in a world where we are far more overall far more accepting, and we're far more open-minded, and we're far
Absolutely.
more accepting of difference, and yet I still think there's a lot of lip service, from corporations, etc., about this, that, and the other. And then underneath, there's still the bad behavior.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's also, I think a lot of companies, like before it was really hot, before maybe 2000, when did I start curve modeling? Maybe 2017. Before 2017 or 2015, there was not a lot of like size representation and stuff. And then it felt like for 6 years there was, and everyone was really excited about it. And then I don't know if it was after the pandemic or what, but it seems to have gone back the other way. One of my good friends who works in runway still posted a graphic the other day that was like, there's the percentage of women who are not size 0 has gone back down. It's like the same thing that a lot of companies do during Pride Month, where they're like, yes, we really care. Here are some rainbows. We support you. Buy our things. And then as soon as it turns into July, it's like crickets. It's like, I think there's a real problem. I think this might just be a capitalism problem, though, that anytime that you can have financial incentive to do anything, you're much more likely to do it. And then when it stops being financially lucrative for you, a lot of companies stop caring because it's really about the bottom line. And now with the rise of all these new drugs and things where you can get skinny like that, I think a lot of the goodwill and body positivity and body neutrality that we've had before was kind of thrown out the window, whether that's like pharmaceutical companies wanting you to take their drugs, or whether people being like, well, there's no excuse anymore. You don't have to be a bigger size. I think it's a real bummer. And I desperately miss turning on the TV or flipping through magazines and seeing people that have more similarities to me and my friends. And I really hope when I raise children, whenever that may be, that they can see themselves in media, because I'm not seeing myself as much as it feels like I was 5 years ago, and I'm not seeing my friends as much, and it's a bummer because it's not a trend or a fad. It's real life. It's real people, and everyone, no matter what size body you're in, or no matter what's going on with you physically, you deserve the same amount of love and respect and validation and support that you would if you were in Margot Robbie's body or anyone else who's exceptionally society's standards of beauty. And those are beautiful people, but that a beautiful body is only so much, and beautiful is subjective. Only showing one kind of beauty is a disservice to all the people who fit into other kinds of beauty in the world. And I see beauty in almost everyone.
Have you seen the new Dove advert?
No, I haven't. Love Dove though. Dove's great.
Yeah. We went to cinema the other day and the new Dove advert was on, and the advert was talking about, and of course other body washes, etc., are available. But it was talking about they will never use AI to manipulate the image of a person in one of their adverts, and they're committed to never doing that.
AI is a whole nother
and it was just pointing
beast.
out that it's really dangerous because people are using AI and they are manipulating bodies still, and and they've always been committed to real beauty, and I love that.
Me too.
But it's interesting. The other thing that you were saying there as well, which I think is interesting, is one of my youngest kids said it to me the other day. I don't get all of these special days for people, right? And they're when it's a kid, they're talking like a kid, and and of course, we have like special days for various people because people have struggled in the past, and they've we're celebrating, to some extent we're celebrating emancipation, we're celebrating people having overcome things, etc. But I got what they went on to say, which is that surely if we live in an equal world, we shouldn't be celebrating stuff on a particular day, and we should just be like rejoicing at the difference
all the time. Yes, agreed. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. But that's a wonderful thing to try and work towards. It would be wonderful if we didn't have to have months or days that we reminded people, hey, these people matter, these people's struggle should be known and they should be celebrated. It would be wonderful if we did that every day. I would love that. If you make me the president, we would do it every day in America. But I'm not 35 yet, and I don't think I'm a good enough liar to get that job.
No, but undoubtedly. You'll be not surprised to hear that I had one music guest on, and she was saying that actually after she'd had some TV appearances, and she, that kind of brought her to the public attention and whatever, she had interest from a record company, and the record company, this is not that long ago, the record company actually said, well, we'd be delighted to work with you, but you've got to lose weight.
Yeah,
that still goes on is just.
It certainly does, and it's crazy. It's also crazy too because if you look at the top artists right now, like some of the most compelling artists have all different body, like. It has now in 2024 been shown that you can be a successful, compelling artist with lots of fans in different body shapes. So the fact that people are still doing that is like,
do you
upsetting.
think it's still, and I don't want to push you too much on it, but do you think it's still pushed at women more than it is men? Because I get the feeling it probably is.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to go and talk to Teddy Swims and say you need to lose a pound or two, right?
But
or
people,
Lewis Capaldi and go get on the treadmill, mate. I just don't think it's going to happen, right?
I agree with you. I also think that even the bigger-bodied women who are successful, I think a lot of the public is really sitting there waiting for something to criticize them on. I felt like. Is this going to be controversial? Maybe. I felt like when the lawsuit came out against Lizzo, it felt like everyone was just waiting to slam dunk on Lizzo. Like they'd been waiting years to make all the jokes that they hadn't been making because the public consciousness, because everyone liked her. So it felt like when there was just any bit of controversy surrounding someone in a bigger body or a look or a body, people don't necessarily see often or desire to have themselves, they are ready at any moment to jump on them when something
Well,
goes
what
wrong.
you're saying is that had it been Beyonce
Yeah.
or somebody else,
Yeah.
maybe the press might have
Yeah.
taken a slightly softer angle on it.
Yeah, or had it been Shawn
Well,
Mendes, a
yeah,
traditionally handsome, white, young, male star, I think lawsuits, oh geez, am I going here? I'm going here. You're asking me good questions. I'm gonna stir up some controversy. I think there have been so many lawsuits against Chris Brown, and he's selling out stadium tours, and it hasn't really affected his sales and the things that you would think. He's not constantly in papers being written about for being abusive or the many number of lawsuits against him. But if there's any accusations against a woman, and that this is also saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know anything about if Lizzo's in the right or the wrong about anything. I just know the second that there was any criticism of her, everyone online just was so quick to hate her, like they'd wanted to all along.
Yeah.
And they finally
You're not
had
making
an
comment on the
excuse.
activity itself. You're making comment on the way that it's allowed to blow up.
Yeah, and I think that stinks. That stinks.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer. So yeah, I haven't been told by labels to lose weight since I was like 18 to 20, but I was so small that when I was told that I needed to be smaller was when I was at my smallest. So, and the reason I don't hear that anymore is because I don't put myself in those positions. Like, I'm very committed to being an independent artist because I don't want someone to tell me who I have to be. I don't think anyone knows me and who I'm supposed to be better than me.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to see them try anyway.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd knock them out.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up the youngest of a bunch of boys, so yeah.
Come on,
there's not much you can tell me that I'm gonna take to heart.
The thing is, and taking it away from size for a minute, I think we see that kind of prejudice all the way through society still, in lots of different areas. I mean, even myself, I've been sort of told you can't do that. You can't do a music thing, right? Because of your age. What absolute nonsense. Yeah, I know.
You can still hear. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
What a crazy thing.
Yeah. Let's look at Jules Holland. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, it's great. It's great that you've got young DJs that are really enthusiastic about music, talking about music, whatever, and they look all very pretty and they've got lovely cheekbones and chiseled looks on YouTube, etc., or your radio stations of choice and whatever. But perhaps some of them, with all due respect, perhaps haven't had as many years of listening to music as some of us more mature people. But that's what all I'm saying is there is kind of a ridiculous prejudice everywhere that, people have to fit a certain box before they can do a certain thing. I think it's one of the great things about the internet. There's a lot of bad stuff about the internet, but I think one of the great things is it has given rise to the voice of anybody being able to get out there and do anything.
Yeah.
Really, and put their stamp on it, and nobody can control it to that extent anymore, where they go, you're not getting airtime, because if I want to broadcast, I'll broadcast. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It also not just like ageism and classism and colorism. It's also if you have access to the internet, you can, you don't have to have lots of fancy equipment and lots of cameras, and you can really just, as long as you have access to the internet and something that can pretty much film you, like, you're good. I think that's amazing because there's so many perspectives that historically we haven't been able to hear because they haven't had access to the means to tell their story. And yeah, you know, the more people that are different than me or different than the norm that I hear from and get to hear their stories and be inspired by, the more it makes me think, why not me? Why not my friend who never thought it could? Why not like anyone? You know what I mean? If you have something to say, you should get the opportunity to say it.
Yeah. What are you saying to the world in your music?
In my music lately, I'm saying something that I usually say. I'm saying something different than I usually say. I would say for the first 20 plus songs of my career, I was trying to say that you can make something beautiful out of pain. I was making a lot of dark anthemic pop music that had darkness and sad undertones and sorrow and trying to overcome adversity and sometimes failing type of messages. But I tried to take my feelings, even the bad ones, even the dark ones, even the sad ones, and make something beautiful out of them.
And now?
And now I'm entering my lover girl era. I'm getting married. So I know. Woo! So I'm trying to let myself for the first time in my life live in
I love that
lightness.
Lover girl as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like live in the light. I feel like I've been making dark music for so long because, you know, when you experience all these things the first 18, 20 years of your life and you're a kid and you don't know how to express them. It felt like for most of my 20s, I was playing catch up, trying to express those feelings that I never got to say when I was younger. And now it feels like I'm finally letting myself live in the present because, you know, in theory, you only get married once. So this is the only time in my life that I'm going to be able to experience all those things that as a woman you get told about since you're a kid. Oh, one day you're going to get married. One day you're going to be a wife and a mother. And I think for a long time, I like rebelled against that idea. Like I didn't think it mattered to me because when you get told that that's what you're supposed to do, you often want to forge your own path and find your own thing. And I feel like making music, I definitely have, but you know, I shouldn't deny myself the joys of living, some of the wonderful things about life just because I want to be different. Like the reason love is so powerful is because everyone gets to experience it and have their own journey with it and find fulfillment and happiness in it. And I'm just like letting myself feel that.
You fell in love and your music changed.
Yeah, I'm trying to let it change. I definitely still have some songs. I'll go into the studio someday and I'll make some songs that are darker, but I'm saving those for a project for next year. Right now, this year, I'm trying to keep myself in this bubble, as Taylor Swift would say, this lavender haze. I'm trying to just stay in this little moment of happiness, you know, before the election happens and I probably start feeling upset again. I'm trying to.
Are your love songs aimed at one person? Are they aimed at lots of people? Are they aimed at lots of different types of love?
I do. The song that just came out is definitely aimed at my fiance, Quinn. I think the act of proposing to someone is such a huge task and a huge expression of love and a huge honor for someone to do that to you. And traditionally, you know, men do that to women if you're in a heterosexual relationship. And when he proposed to me, I was so overcome with emotion, but I was also like, I so badly want to do something back that is equally impactful because you put all this work in to propose to me and all I got to do was say yes. And I think that women or whichever partner isn't proposed to should be able to or should want to do something back. And you know, this is kind of the only way I know how to express myself. And it just poured out of me. I was feeling a lot of happiness that I had not felt before.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you have a family, so you get
Yeah.
it. It, like unconditional love is yeah, it's not something that I'd ever really felt like I had besides my dog. So it was yeah, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelmingly positive, and I wanted to express that. So that song is definitely about Quinn, but I'd say and my next song that's coming out that's in the same era is also about Quinn.
Do you know what? I think some artists are really very capable of just continually expressing the love
Yeah.
feeling.
And I think I've never done it before. So
Yeah.
it's really, and I've been in this loving relationship for about 4 years, and the poor guy, the whole time before now, I've just been writing about things that happened before we met. Kind of, he's just been having to listen to me sing about the pain that I felt through other things. So I thought, he definitely deserved to hear the kind of songs that he makes me.
I hope you managed to stay in that bubble for a good while. I mean, I think that's where artists like Chris Martin have done an incredible job of, you can hear it moving through sort of personal relationship, probably relationship with family, and now a lot of the time he's talking about kind of a bigger, kind of more spiritual love amongst people, etc. And it's just kind of, I think sometimes people narrow their perspective of love too much.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Stevie Wonder, Isn't She Lovely? It's written about a child. Like that song, the kind of joy in that song is the kind of joy that I would love to make people feel, or make people know is possible for them. And that's not a romantic love. That's just a like, there's so many different kinds of love. And right now, my most recent song was definitely focused on that romantic love. But as I grow and my life changes, I hope that I can express all different kinds of love, and also the darkness. But yeah, I don't know. There's something really cool and powerful about being able to feel light and not so heavy, not feeling like you have the whole world on you. Just being able to live in love. And I'm definitely going to try to do that in other aspects of my life. But
cool.
Yeah.
So I Do is the single that's available. That's out there now.
Yeah.
You can stream that, folks, if you want to. There's obviously an album that you can stream as well, which is previous material. So are you working towards another album with this set of more love era songs on it? Is that what you're working on?
I wasn't initially thinking that it was going to be a project, but because a lot of the songs, like I Do is kind of a soulful ballad, and then my next song, Crisis, is like a more upbeat dance song. But the theme through all of it is really love. So I am going to release my little Lover Girl era project in the next couple months. Yeah.
Marvelous. And folks, if you'd like to hear Lily do a cover of Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, you just have to vote.
Absolutely.
Or send her money, and then she'll consider it. That
would definitely work.
Yeah, because money helps, right?
Yeah.
Money really helps when it comes to. Oh goodness, yes, when it comes to making music. What's the rest of 2024 looking like for you? Are you kind of hunk down in the studio writing? Are you focusing on writing? Are you going to get out there and perform at all?
I think I'm definitely going to be performing. I get married in September. I've pretty much been in the studio.
Oh, great month to do that.
Great month. I've been in.
Is there a day? Is there a day that you've set?
We have set a day. We have set a day.
You're not letting me know what the day is.
I'm not gonna let you know what the day is.
Okay, is it towards the end of September or the beginning?
It is. It's
what?
towards the end.
Towards the end. Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
It's my birthday on the 30th of September. If it's anywhere near there, if it's anything near the 30th of September, then it's my birthday.
Okay,
All right?
wonderful.
Which is a great day to get married on. Just pointing that out. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna get out there. You're gonna do some songs. Will you sing at your own wedding?
I certainly have the option to. I'm leaving that option open for myself, but I'm also not going to put pressure on myself if I decide I want to drink a bunch of champagne and not have to worry about anything.
Well, could it be you and your newlywed husband doing it together? What would it be if you didn't have a first dance, as it were, and you had a first song instead? What would you pick between the two of you?
Between the two of us, if we had to do something together, it would probably be something Lana Del Rey.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he works in film, and he's very cinematic, and her music is so cinematic, and it's like the one artist that before we met each other, we both really loved. Like we've introduced each other to, that's one of the amazing things about a relationship. You get to learn all that person's music and you get to share with them your favorite music. But that was the one artist that before we met, we were both like, ooh, this really hits for me.
Yeah. Oh, something from the last album, maybe. The first song on the last album has got that kind of, that intro. It feels like it's almost a 60s group thing. Yeah. There we go.
She's incredible.
Absolutely. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on and putting the worlds to right about injustice, etc. Talking to us a little bit. No, absolutely, it should be done. Talking to us about your new music. What would you like? What would you like the audience to do for you? How would you like them to express themselves to you? Would you like them to follow you in a particular place, or to message you with love about a particular thing? Or
absolutely, I would love for you to, on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you stream music, I would love for you to listen to my music and message me on Instagram or wherever. Let me know your favorite song that you listen to. And also, if you have any interest in my life or my wedding, you can always find more personal stuff on Instagram. But I'm also happy to just be the soundtrack to your life, and you don't have to follow me on socials at all. Just live your own beautiful life. And if my music can in any way be a soundtrack to that, I would be so excited and stoked for you and me.
There you go. And as a little project out there, if you are getting married this year, and you can use one of Lily's songs as a sort of soundtrack to a video for your wedding, please then do share it with Lily, and maybe
I would love that.
Maybe she'll put together a little website of people's wedding videos from all over the world with her music being played in the background. That'd be marvelous.
That's a wonderful idea. Yeah, totally. I would love to show everyone's love. That would be wonderful. That's a great idea. This is my new head of strategy right here. Graham.
There we go.
Wonderful
Well,
idea.
I do try. Listen, you've been an absolutely wonderful guest. Thank you so much for coming on. Please,
Thank
everybody,
you.
this is the wonderful Lily Lane. Do go and check out her music now.
Yeah.
Stream to your heart's content. Fill your boots with music. But remember, music doesn't grow on trees. So if you can support the artist at all in any shape or form, please do that, because otherwise they can't carry on, Music doesn't grow on trees. It really doesn't. We will be back again soon with more My Music. Until then, behave yourselves out there, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.